Konnichiwa and hello to race fans of PSGL and F1 in general. Once again, we are here for a live stream of the F1 division of the PSGL leagues. And it seems like yesterday that we were watching Maxi Luca drive his Williams to victory at Bahrain in round 1, but we are now into the last quarter of the season already. How time flies. So tonight we have the best drivers that PSGL offers for the Japanese Grand Prix. So after this event we only have 2 rounds to go, and the championship race in both the drivers and the constructors is as tight as it has been pretty much the entire season. So first of all, good evening to GamerDaBest and Qprbeasts in the chat. And yes, this is indeed a new channel, so this is race being brought to you by my GamingAlimonda channel, so there's going to be lots of content going up. So if you haven't already, subscribe, that would be very nice, thank you. So let's just quickly go over the situation in the championship. So at the moment, after Qprbeasts won the Singapore Grand Prix in excellent style, and I will quickly mention thanks to the guys who covered me last week. Much appreciated. You did an outstanding job of covering that race, I have to say, and it was a surprisingly entertaining race for Singapore as well. Plenty of action, but once again, thanks very much to those guys for covering me. So going back to the driver standings, Qprbeasts, aka Louis, he's on 79 points after his win in Singapore. 3 points clear of Jamie, who finished second on 76. And tonight we have the return of GamerDaBest, who's missed the last couple of races. He was, of course, the championship leader after his victory in Hungary. He's on 64 points, so he has 3 rounds to try and regain the championship. It's a tall order. It's 15 points behind the championship leader at the moment. But the Mercedes driver has already proven this season he certainly has the pace to get at least the wins he needs to be the champion. And then Cliffy had his first non-finish last week in Singapore, but it doesn't take away too much from his very impressive debut run in F1. He's on 44 points, with Big C and Sandman Kids on 44 points in 5th and 6th. And then in the Constructors' Championship, it's like the Drivers' Championship, it's effectively a three-way fight. Toro Rosso had an excellent result last week once again. Just like they did in Belgium, they outscored everybody at Singapore with a 20-point haul of points. So Toro Rosso currently lead the Constructors' Championship at 123 points, with Huss on 114. And Mercedes have dropped back thanks to Gamers' absences on 108, but that 4th place from Sandman Kid to get those 8 points in Singapore may prove to be quite important in the final reckoning. So we're going to be loading up now the Suzuka circuit to start the usual 12-minute qualifying session, and then it will be a 50% distance race, 27 laps of the Suzuka. A little bit of feedback. I usually get that if I leave it sort of not talking, but I think that's because I have the output a little bit more up. But it's okay when I'm talking and actually have the mic on. It's usually when I have it sat down doing nothing. But I will move my mouthpiece a little bit further away just to reduce that a little bit. And hello to you, Simo. In case you weren't here, I did thank you for you covering commentary last week. That was very appreciated. So we're about to start qualifying here. Very technical, very demanding circuit, this 5.8 kilometer Suzuka circuit. One of those circuits where you just really don't get much of a break during the lap. You know, lots of tracks have really long straights where you can sort of relax and consider your strategy. But this one, you have a short straight, then you have the very important sector 1, which really does set up your lap here. If you mess up sector 1, it's virtually impossible to regain the time in the final 2 sectors. So those opening S curves, very important to your lap time. And you go into the Dunlop curve, the 2 Degners, where you try and take as much speed into them as you dare, but if you make any slight error, the gravel trap awaits you. Then after sector 2, into the hairpin, and then around the spoon curve, and then the the always majestic run up the hill and then through 130R, which is completely flat in this game. And according to our usual resident Belgium weatherman, Game Freaker reports it's going to be a dry quali and a dry race. Something must be in the air for all these dry races we've been having in PSGL recently. And indeed, Qprbeasts, I completely agree with you on that. This is one of the best tracks to drive on this game, especially with the sort of remodeled undulations of the track that they've done in this game. Because it was, I mean, it was good on F1 2016, but the track felt somewhat lifeless because the sort of gradients of the corners weren't like real life. But now that they are, it's a lot better. So in this qualifying session, we're going to be focusing on the top 3 in the championship, but we will of course try and keep an eye on everybody else in terms of their lap time. So let's see if anybody's trying something different in terms of strategy. Dry race, of course. So got Greeny and Jack Lacey. Jack Lacey, of course, the reigning PSGL F1 champion. He cannot retain his championship, although that possibility did go some time ago. Just hasn't had the pace consistently to be in position to do what he did last season in F1 2016, where he stormed to the championship with some incredible performances in the final few races. But I'm sure now that that pressure's gone, he can sort of enjoy his racing and come back stronger next season. And, you know, because Greeny and Jack Lacey, it's a very good combination of drivers. If they can really hook it up, they could certainly be a massive threat for the constructors next season. It's just been somewhat unlucky for them to a degree this season. And I think McLaren could say the same thing. Pine and Powdy, they have plenty of pace, but they've had some misfortune and just some not very good performances out there. So most of the drivers out on track now. So who's going to be starting a flying lap from the top 3? Looks like it's going to be Louis. So let's go on board with him as we run down to the start-finish straight. Accelerating up to maximum speed, and then you just want to look for the market. You can brake very late for this corner. Interestingly, when I actually looked at the racing line, it makes you brake way earlier, but you can brake massively earlier. So nicely smoothly done off the S's, which is probably the most important part of the track for your lap time, because if you go wide at 1, you have to really work hard to reset yourself for the following 2, but then you've already lost some time. Into the Degner 1, Deg 2, bit of curb, but no, doesn't lose any time there. That was about as aggressive as you want. And then into the hairpin goes Louis again. And then now going up through towards the spoon curve, where quite a few drivers over the years have spun out. Damon Hill very famously spun out here in 1995, which handed Michael Schumacher the championship that day. And again, this has looked like a very assured lap from the championship leader. 2-time race winner this season in Russia and Singapore. Now coming up to the final chicane. You want to take as much curve as you can without cutting it. It's easy to invalidate your lap. So Louis gets a bit of snap oversteer there, but it doesn't affect the lap tight scan. And the 129.095 is the benchmark to start off with. Got yellows in sector 1, and Samban Kids goes a tenth quicker immediately in the Mercedes. Now and here comes Jamie through the final corner. I'm not sure if he's on a lap. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like he is. No, it's. I think he's on a flying lap now. I'm not really sure who would replace me next season. You know, part of me's kind of thinking maybe I should carry on. I'm not sure, but I guess final 2 races, because my work situation has changed. Big C for 128.739. Now he can't win the championship, but he could certainly be a really good number 2 to help Louis win the championship. So that's something that I'm sure the two have discussed. So we've got quite a few lap times coming in so far. Now where is GamerDaBest? What is he up to? He's on a flying lap, but I think Jamie was on a flying lap before him. 33.883, which apparently is a second down on the fastest. So Jamie struggling a bit in the Haas. 128.739 for Big C is the benchmark. So, and Greeny sticks a Ferrari in second. So at the moment, Louis is in 4th place, but none of his championship rivals are near him right now. So I lost Jamie for a second there. Right, here we go. Jamie climbing up the hill towards turn 15, which is more famously known as 130R, and flies through it. It's completely flat with low fuel. Now coming out the final chicane is Jamie a bit gingerly out the final corner. Where is he going to end up? Jamie must have made a mistake somewhere in sector 1, because he did appear to lose a lot of time there. We'll have time to come back around again. And now, GamerDaBest. He looks like he's on a better lap. He's got quite low fuel, so he's gonna. It's only just over 5 minutes of session left. Oh, GamerDaBest, something's happened. He's ghosting. No, he's coming back in, so obviously not happy with his run. He'll get quickly in the pits, so pressure will be all on Jamie and GamerDaBest to get one last run in and get the times that they need. But if the qualifying were to finish like this, I think Louis would be absolutely delighted with that. But we've still got 5 minutes of this session. Now, is anyone else out there? Jamie's run out of fuel. Oh no, no he hasn't. No, slowing down. Tusmus has run out of fuel. He's currently lying in 10th, 2.1 seconds off the pace. So no one opting for an alternative strategy, no one's gone on the soft tyres or anything like that. So everyone is gunning for the super soft tyres to get maximum track position that they can and the maximum potential out of their own ability. Jack Lacey through 130R, the reigning champion. It was a car, but Tusmus get out of the way. And Jack Lacey pits. Well, it's going to be a really busy track when everyone comes out for their final run. Shortbread only currently in 15th. May have invalidated his first run. So a welcome for those who have just joined us. So as a reminder of the championship standings, QPRbeasts on 79 points, Jamie on 76 and GamerDaBest on 64 points for the top 3. The only 3 who can realistically win the championship now. Mathematically still possible for Cliffy, but it would take a minor miracle for him to win the championship. Same for Big C. Would require a few DNFs from the top 3 for Cliffy, Big C or Sam again to get into the championship reckoning. So Greeny goes out onto an outlap. Lordy boy currently in 9th. That's a good place to be for Lordy. Has not had the best run of it recently. 3 non-finishes in a row. His only point score being in Canada. A 9th place finish. But looking like he's got a bit more pace here today. GamerDaBest then on his outlap. Number 62. That splendid looking silver Mercedes. What can he do? We shall find out soon enough. Indeed. But frankly, it's highly unlikely anyone outside the top 6. It would take a very extraordinary set of circumstances. In terms of averages, the top 3. Although Cliffy has won 2 races this season, and Maxi Luca has retired. Must have messed something up somewhere. So Greeny's going to start flying lap now. So Maxi Luca's in 6th at the moment, but he may drop further down the order. Let's see where is Cliffy at the moment. Cliffy is starting a flying lap, so we'll keep an eye on Greeny for now. Currently just under 2/10 away from Big C's benchmark time of a 1:28.739. Nicely through the center S's, slightly wide, coming into the Dunlop curve. Now, does a very aggressive downshift to get through the Degners as quick as possible. He would have lost a bit of time running wide there. Just over a minute of the session to go. But Sector 1 Yellows, Lordy Boy, has moved up to 6th position with that latest lap. So it's looking like a promising time for the Williams team right now. Samakid's in 3rd. So I'll go back to Greeny momentarily. Let's see how GamerDaBest on a flying lap. Did Jamie manage to get out in time? Yes, he did. So he's starting a flying lap now. And so is Louis. So Louis starts a flying lap. So Greeny's going to cross the line. Let's see where he ends up. And Greeny moves first at 1:28.5. Excellent lap from Greeny, but is that going to be enough for pole? Where is GamerDaBest? GamerDaBest now, heading for the line, taking as tight a line as he goes for it. Gamer goes into the 27s with a 1:27.994. Well, that is an incredible lap. Can anyone get anywhere near to that? Big C gets within 4/10. And now I can't switch. Now this glitch isn't actually on the Xbox version, because I watched an AOR race the other day and they could switch happily, so GG Codemasters. Samakid finishes in 4th. So the championship leader QPRbeasts is still on a flying lap, but I can't switch unfortunately, as is Jamie. But can anyone can Louis get anywhere near that time from GamerDaBest? I mean, what a return. Absent from the last 2 races, and then he puts in a lap like that with the maximum pressure. Meshed up his first run. And now he's in provisional pole at the moment. Louis is down to 6th. Jack Lacey moves up to 5th. Good qualifying for Ferrari, 3rd and 5th as it stands. And actually Jamie is still going. Jamie only can manage 10th, 1.3 seconds off the pace. Josh and Iran in 11th and 12th. Shawbread and Nick Pine has finished, so he's going to start at the back of the grid. And I think that may be it. Doesn't look like there's anyone else out on the lap, so... And Shortbread puts it in 5th, so Louis will start in 7th position. So this is another twist to this championship situation. AI having a bit of close bumper to bumper action there. Very professional game presentation from Codemasters. But when Gamer came out from the chicane and just took that line like you did, you could just see how much he wanted it. The only person to go into the 27s, if that's his race pace in terms of that sort of advantage, then he could run away with it just like he has in the other 2 victories he had this season. So qualifying is over. Anybody from the top 18 which has surprised you, who are quite far up there? I think the Williams team will be happy with 9th and 10th. Game Free going 8th in the Renault, that's a good qualifying from him. And there it is. So GamerDaBest takes the pole position, but Big C, the teammate of Louis, right alongside him. Now Big C, if he can get ahead of GamerDaBest, that could change the whole situation. The start's going to be so important. Greeny in 3rd, Samakid in 4th, Shortbread in 5th, Jack Lacey in 6th, so a good qualifying for Ferrari. Louis could only manage 7th, Game Freak in 8th, Lordy Boy in 9th, North Korea Maxi Luca in 10th, Jamie could only manage 11th, and there is the rest of your grid. Tuzmus 16th on his return to with Red Bull. But given the way the grid has shaped up, this could be the most important start a gamer will have this season. Because if Big C gets ahead of him, you just know Big C is going to make it an absolute nightmare for Gamer to get back past. He's got to get this start right. He's got to get a Lewis Hamilton 2017 sort of start, not a Lewis Hamilton 2016 start. Because it's that important for his race. If he can get away from Big C and let everyone else battle behind him, he can just control the race from there. And Louis and Jamie, well, they're not in the ideal positions they wanted, so I think they will be just trying to stay out of trouble, because the turn 1 here has a lot of potential for collisions. So the grids, no time for the wicked, 5 red lights, and we're off. GamerDaBest, does he get the start he requires? Yes, he does. He gets ahead of Big C, and look, the Ferrari Greenie gets an absolute stormer from the second row, and he moves into second. Can Big C come back at him, and is Greenie even going to challenge for the lead? No, Gamer will take it into the S's, so Big C drops to third as we ride up the hill towards the Dunlop curve. But look, Qprbeasts has made a decent start as well from the third row, and he's going to challenge Big C. But that's a disaster for Louis, because Big C really needed to be his gunner and get ahead of that Mercedes, but he couldn't manage it. It was a perfect start from the Mercedes driver into the hairpin for the first time, lap 1 of 27. And Big C will now have a little look at GamerDaBest. Let's see what else has been going on down the order. Louis is maintained within 7th, Jamie's dropped to 12th. GamerDaBest already has a second advantage. He's already out of DRS range, and we're only on the first lap. Big C is going to have to get past Greenie if he can, but that was an amazing start from Greenie. Got amazing traction off the line, and he just swept around Big C into the first corner. Lock of the tyres from Big C going into the chicane as we head to complete the first lap. And we got pit stops already. Maxi Luca, a 5-second penalty for Maxi Luca straight away. The old penalty hoarder. We've seen him get lots of penalties this season in some races. Here and in the pits as well. These wing changes. Yeah, wing change for Maxi Luca, and it looks like, oh, and we had an invisible pit crew for a second there. I know Sauber have lots of financial cuts, but that's ridiculous. Now Greenie in second place. Does he have the pace to keep up with GamerDaBest? Judging by this evidence, no. 1.5 second gap is already developing. In terms of the strategy, those in the top 10 more than likely are one-stop super softs for as long as you can, then switch to the mediums. And we have yellows in sector 2, and Cliffy has gone off. Cliffy's retired. Wow, that's the second DNF in a row for the Renault driver. After that wonderful form when he came into the division, it's gone slightly awry for him in recent times. 1.7 gap now, 1.6. So we still have yellows in sector 2, and Cliffy leaves the session. Something must have happened. So, can Qprbeasts do anything about Big C at this point as we get DRS on lap 3? GamerDaBest sets a blistering pace, 1:31.871. Now let's have a look at Louis. What is he up to? He's currently in 7th position. And then Jamie is some distance behind Joel and out of the points. And Jack Lacey made a mistake, so that allows Louis to move back up to 6th position. So let's have a look at the position changes. So Joel gained 7 places from the start, and Pine and Tusmus also gained some decent positions. And now Big C is close as it's now 2.5 second gap between the top 2. Greenie is holding up the rest of the field in a big way, and we got We got yellows in Sector 2 again. And Sector 1. What on earth is going on? Doesn't seem to be any position changes. Tuzmas has left the session, so he must have gone off somewhere. Now here we go. Big C challenging for position. Second place. Can he get? He's going to try and go around the outside at 130R. Now that is a brave move, and he sweeps by with the superior straight line speed on his setup. So now can Big C go after GamerDaBest and make this race for the lead that little bit much more interesting. Greeny's going to have DRS. Can he come back at him? Ferrari's getting closer, closer. I think Big C's got slightly more straight line speed. Gets close under braking, but I think Big C does have it done for now. So Samaki running in 5th position. And now he's got the championship leader closing up to the back of him. So we got a Mercedes and a Toro Rosso fighting at the front of the lead, and then another Mercedes Toro Rosso doing the hunting here for 5th and 6th. There's quite a gap developing now between the top 7 and the rest. Lordy Boy has maintained his start position in a solid 9th. I think getting points is something he will really be after, although he's under a lot of pressure from Joel here. Let's see if Joel thinks about a move down the hairpin. He's on the soft tyres. Started outside the top 10 course. Did he go for a dive? No. So these are the tyres at the moment. Jamie's going for a long stint on the mediums. Oh, and Greeny goes off. We just caught that. And that's going to allow Shortbread to go, so oh dear. Greeny managed to save it. And good evening to Jake Racing and Remco, who just joined us. And wow, Greeny, he loses another place. Oh, and Shortbread though loses the back end. Oh no, oh no. I don't think Shortbread has just come back onto the track like that, and Green's just damaged his wing on the back of him. No love lost between those two. Oh. Well, that's certainly going to pique up the interest of the cars fan. Oh, and Louis has dropped back behind Jack Lacey. I didn't see that. And now look on the outside. Is that the throw to Jack Lacey? Yes, it is. On the outside for the Dunlop curve, and look at that. What a move that is. He got boxed in by Greeny's Ferrari, and that allowed Jack Lacey an excellent run on the outside. So is Sandberg going to go? So it looks like Greeny's wing has massively compromised his downforce. And I'm getting some weird stuff with the broadcast options here. They keep switching themselves off. I think that's just a temporary thing. So Jack Lacey in 5th position. And look at that, the downforce massively affected. This would be easy work for Jack Lacey, and Greeny might just let him go, but all started from that mistake Greeny made the previous lap. Shortbread got past him, and then Shortbread made a mistake at the chicane. And then that was it, and then past he goes, and look behind. Greeny now losing so much time. So can Sam McKim move up to 5th position? They've all got DRS. And Game Freak has joined in the battle as well, so Game Freak coming out of nowhere. And Jamie's moved into the points of a move on Nick Pine, I've just seen. Lordy Boy into the pits quite early on the Super Softs. But Greeny, well, he's got to try and stay out, I suppose. And oh, and look at that. He's been boxed in again by Greeny, just like the previous lap. Can Louis go around the outside? No. Oh, and I just saw a bit of carbon fibre fly off. I don't know if Sam Kid just lost part of his wing. Wow, this is a dramatic race. And Big C, oh, and look at that. Oh, and Louis, oh, Louis, what's he done? What has Louis done? He's made a massively aggressive move. Oh dear. What was he thinking? What was he thinking? He got the brakes completely wrong at the second Degner. He's damaged half his wing. Could this be the Singapore moment of this F1 season? Is this where QPRbeasts loses the championship? Right here. Because it's GamerDaBest is running away with it. But that incident has just reignited GamerDaBest championship bid, assuming he continues his pace and wins the race. Now Josh challenging Louis for another position. There's not much point for Louis to challenge us. But if anyone wants to go back, earlier on in the stream, oh, Louis goes off track. If anyone wants to go back to that part of the stream and just give your view on what happened, then that would be good. Just interested to see who you think was at fault for that. But I do think Louis went very late on the brakes. So the championship leader pits, and Sandbank Kid does as well for a new wing. Unexpected moment there. Louis has barely put a foot wrong all season, but that was a move of a desperate man almost. Didn't really need to either. He did have a 15-point gap to Gamer, so it wouldn't have been the end of the world if he got some decent points. But the way it looks now, getting points will be very difficult indeed from this position. But he just needs to keep going and hope there's a safety car. Oh wait, sorry, the safety car's broken. So yeah, he's probably not going to get any points. Maxi Luca has rejoined. Didn't actually notice he disconnected. Let's hope Maxi Luca's car doesn't materialise right in front of Gamer. Nope, gets past if so. So a 5-second gap between the top two. As we start lap 8 of this Grand Prix, and there's yellows in sector 3. Not sure why there's yellows in sector 3, but anyway. So all that sort of madness means that the order is this: GamerDaBest leads the race, 5.3 seconds over Big C. Shortbread in 4th up to 3rd. Jack Lace up to 4. Joe in a superb 5th for Sauber. Ned Pine up 6th, and Jamie, thanks to some of those cars, is up to 7th now. Powdy in 8th, Josh in 9th, and GameFreaker where he will end up, I'm not sure. But I think because of all those other pit stops, he should come back out. And there's Greeny gets by. Does anyone else beat him? Lordy Boy is on the main straight now. And GameFreaker comes out. Now Greeny had to pit a bit earlier, so he's going to have to stretch out those mediums to the end. They should go fairly far. So let's see if there's any battles out on track. They're fairly close, but not quite yet. So close battle on track appears to be Jamie and Powdy. Although let's see, Lordy Boy and Sam again. So this looks like a close battle for position 13th and 12th. I will keep an eye on that Powdy battle as well, see if he does close in on the back of Jamie's on better tyres. So we go through the corners where that incident happened. And forgot to mention Oogie not racing tonight, so good evening to you, Oogie. Hope you're enjoying the race so far. Shame you couldn't be part of it. Might have gained quite a few places from incidents like that we've seen. Maxi Luca gets another 5-second penalty. Are we surprised at this point? Some of the fans in the stands would probably say no. So Lordy Boy, the back of his Williams twitching a little bit. That's going to allow Sandman Kid to close in on him once again. So none of the top 9 have pitted yet. So we've got 4 Supersoft runners from the start. They're in the top 10. And now Sandman Kid locking of the tyres from Lordy Boy. Now, can Sandman Kid get close to the back of that Williams? Straight line speed. Yep, it certainly is dry all the way through. Although, having said that, there are some clouds developing and the lights sort of gone a bit darker, so maybe we might get a bit of a twist in the tail right at the end. Sandman getting very close to the Williams now. Seems to have much more confidence in the car through sector 1. Didn't have the straight line speed to get past Louis. Is he going to go for a move down the Degners? Well, I'd understand not doing that after that calamity we saw with Louis earlier, which I don't think was his fault. Powdy's going to... Oh, it looks like Jack Lacey's close to within half a second of Shortbread. So I may go back to that battle, but I just want to see how this develops. The rest of the on-track battles are not very close. Iran running in 15th. He's had to make 2 pit stops already. Oh, Lordy Boy goes wide through the spoon curve. That's going to compromise his exit, and this should allow Slam Kid to get an excellent run up the hill towards 130R. Lordy Boy goes defensive to force Salmon Kid onto the outside. Again, his straight line speed, pretty good. Obviously running a low setup in terms of the wings. They go through the chicane. Salmon Kid gets a slightly better exit. Who's got the better acceleration? Yeah, once again. He's got the slipstream, he's got the DRS, but is it going to be enough? They're running out straight here. And Lolly Boy goes much late on the brakes and gets away from him. So Salmon Kid slightly trapped at the moment behind that car. So Powdy is pitted. So Maxi Luca ignoring a blue flag. Well, I'm sure Simo may have to help me out here, but I think that's at least 15 seconds of penalties he's got now in terms of stop and goes. He'll have so many stop and goes he won't even make the US Grand Prix at this rate. Big C pits from second position. That allows Shortbread and Jack Lacey to go ahead. Now where is Joel? It's going to be interesting to see where Big C ends up. He doesn't really want to end up in traffic because that could really compromise him. Onto the soft tyres, so a long stint on the soft tyres to finish the race, you would think. So Shortbread moves up to second, and has anyone else got past Big C? Oh, Big C comes out, relatively clear traffic. He'll be hoping the cars in front of him, Jamie and Pine for example, pit fairly soon, because if they don't, he's going to lose a lot of time. So they're on slower, older tyres. Yeah, I'm pretty sur Max Luca had he had 2 stop and goes and then another one for those blue flags. So, goodness me, can't win motor racing with penalties like that. That is for sure. So, a 10-second gap between the top 2 at the moment. So Josh, Jamie, Pine, and then the top 4. None of them have pitted yet. See how quickly Big C gets to the back of Jamie. That is Jamie ahead there. So that's going to be a nice little battle for us to look forward to. And Sam McKidd appears to still be stuck behind Lordy Boy. I'm going to keep an eye on Big C for now. I think we've seen enough of the back of that Lordy Boy Williams. So, let's see that. So, fresh soft tyres against the old 12-lap medium tyres of Jamie. Locks up the soft tyres now. Can Big C get this move done immediately? Gets an excellent run out of it, and I think this is going to be a piece of cake for the 7th-time PSGL F1 champion. Goes alongside Jamie, and I don't think he's going to be able to offer much of defence unless he goes late on the brakes. Jamie's alongside him. No. Simplicity itself, that's a crucial moment for Big C's race. Gamer has pitted as well. He's well up the road from Big C. Didn't go much longer, but he managed 11 laps on the super soft, and now he's behind the Sauber of Joel. Wow. This is an interesting situation. Does Gamer need to risk any sort of move at this point, given the way his championship position is going to look much healthier as it stands? Big C's already caught up to the back of Nick Pine. The pace difference on these fresh tyres in this division is incredible. GamerDaBest will have slightly fresher tyres at the end. Now he's closing. And Big C is already flown past Pine into 3rd. And now this is the battle for the lead. And that is a terrible camera view, so we'll switch to the other one. Through 130R for the 12th time out of 27. And now GamerDaBest just needs to take his time. He doesn't need to do anything rash. But Big C has closed to within 4.7 seconds of him. 4.4. So he does need to get this move done fairly soon. Joel will try and go defensive. And GamerDaBest. No, he's going to have to... Oh, and off the grass goes Joel. Somehow keeps him on the track. Oh, GamerDaBest looking for a move down the S's, but no, he's not going to be able to. So Joel is holding him up, and all the time that's allowing Big C to get closer. Now 3.5 seconds is the gap between Gamer and Big C, and it's going down all the time. Gamer's got to get this move done sooner or later, otherwise he's going to have that Toro Rosso right on the back in DRS range. But Joel, this is for position. It's not like a Sauber in real life, which gets slapped about 20 times during a Grand Prix. This is for the lead of the race. So GamerDaBest still unable to get the move done. Lap 13, and so Maxi Luca gets another penalty. Not even sure if it's worth mentioning it at this point, but anyway, going into the spoon curve. Once again, Gamer gets closer and closer, but now it's a 2.3 second gap to Big C. He's got to get this move done now. His lead of the race is under threat. No question. The longer he spends behind this Sauber, he's got to just keep calm and collected. If he gets frustrated, he could end up hitting it into the back of that Sauber, breaking his wing, and that's his race over in terms of the win. And Joel crosses over the chicane, and he gets a better exit. He's gonna go defensive again. Now GamerDaBest getting closer. It's now Big C sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:31.688. It's now 1.7. Gamer just cannot get past this Sauber, although Joel goes very wide. Still can't get past him. And look at Big C, he's right there. But Gamer ahead. Oh, he's got to run. Oh no, he gets chopped off by Joel. Is Joel an unofficial third Toro Rosso driver? I'm not sure. He's defending for his life here, although I think he's finally the tyres have given up. Oh, Joel defending for his life, and he chops off. Big C, he's right there. Oh my goodness, I thought Big C was going to dive down the inside. This is an incredible situation. Joel is out of position, hasn't pitted yet, but he's making Gamer's life a nightmare right now. It was looking like a lights the flag victory, but all of a sudden this massive complication has lit up this race, and Big C now, he is a shark that smells blood. Any half opportunity he will try and take advantage of, but now Gamer gets an exit run on those fresher tyres. But Joel has that much more straight line speed, and that just allows Big C just to keep a watching brief behind. Gamer now hasn't put a foot wrong though. He hasn't made any sort of frustrated lunge. But surely those tyres of Joel are going to be giving out soon. 15 laps on the softs from the beginning. But again, Joel, the straight line speed of that Sauber is good enough to keep him ahead. But Joel goes wide again. The old rubber is starting to give up on him. Now all Gamers got a little gap on the S's, and Big C will surely take second as well. Now this is the time. If Big C is going to take the lead of this race and win it, he's got to strike now before Gamer unleashes that race pace and gets ahead of him. Lock up of the tyres from Big C. It's a dog off the leash here. Can Big C take lead? Oh, and they're close through the hairpin. Joel will look on and admire the battle for the lead, because don't forget, before these two pitted, Gamer had like a 5-second advantage to Big C, but being stuck in that traffic really hurt him. It massively hurt him. Joel, Pine and Jamie and Josh still haven't pitted, so I wonder if Jamie's looking to go onto the super softs at the end of the race. Less than 4 tenths between the top two. Although Gamer starting to eke out a little gap. But what is their front line through? We saw that Gamer's speed in terms of the wing size, it wasn't that impressive compared to the Sauber. So if Big C has an advantage there, he could still close the gap. And yes, he is closing, but not closing enough. He needs to be closer on that exit. The Gamer under enormous pressure, far more pressure than he's ever had in terms of his being at the front of the race in Spain. and hungry, he ran away with it comfortably. But today has not been like that at all. Nick Pine pits at last. QPRbeasts incidentally still in 14th place, so Jamie running in 5th at the moment, although he hasn't pitted. So Joel's done 16 laps on those soft tyres, so I'd imagine it would be virtually pointless to go onto the mediums. So he'll be looking to go on the super softs to finish the race, so he'll have some pace. He's going to be undercut by those on the other tyres all the time, the older his tyres get. So I don't think he's in the fight for the podium. I think Qprbeasts is looking good for a podium at the moment. Jack Lacey well behind. And Louis gets a 3-second penalty just to add insult to injury. And now GamerDaBest is beginning to show that race pace. He's now got nearly 6 tenths. There's a Red Bull ahead, but that is Ghost car, so no problem there. There was, look at that, Gamer sets fast lap the race, 3 tenths quicker than the one Big C did earlier. There was that half opportunity when Gamer got knocked wide by the Sauber. That could have been the moment for Big C. Joel pits at last. Let's see what tyres these guys are going on. Joel goes on super softs, as does Nick Pine. So Joel's going to have some real pace towards the end of the race. Greenie's up to 6th. He'll have to just keep going to the end. So Ferrari's still on for a strong result. Jamie's still going, although he's being caught by Jack Lacey, and he'll be pitting soon. One of only 2 people who haven't pitted now. Big C hanging on to the back of that Mercedes. Keeps in DRS range, but he's over half a second behind, and he's just not quite close enough. He's going to have to hope Gamer runs slightly wide ahead of him. But this is something we've wanted to see. Gamer and Big C, 2 of the very best in PSGL, going head to head. We have certainly seen that. But Big C's pace to take advantage of, and oh my goodness, another penalty for Maxi Luca. Big C getting a slightly better exit. He's now within half a second. Can he close down? He might have to do some sort of almighty lunge. Oh, he's definitely closer. Look at the acceleration. And Big C managed to get out of that corner. Very nicely done. But Gamer just can't break away. And Jamie pits. Where is he going to end up? We'll have to go back to the battle of the lead. Jamie's going to be on the super soft tyres, you'd imagine. Where's he going to end up? Looks like he's going to drop. Well, he's going to end up in 10th position. He's going to have very fast tyres for the end of the race. Joel's ended up in 7th, and he's already caught up to the back of Josh. So Joel's on for a really good result for Sauber. He could get 6th place at least, and given the tyre advantage he'll have, he could catch up to Greeny as well. He's going to be on. He's been on the mediums for a long time. So should be plenty of action. But this is the battle for the lead of this Japanese Grand Prix PSGL F1. Thank you very much for all the people watching. Your comments have been very, very interesting to read. I tell you what, this season has been absolutely incredible in F1. There's been so many twists and turns. Like the fact that GamerDaBest missed the race, and yet with a simple twist of a race like this, he's right back in the title fight. It's unbelievable. Maxi Luca gets another. I mean, seriously, is he trying to like set the slowest like finish time of all time, including penalties? Unbelievable. So Big C continues to close in onto the back, and Josh pits in the end, so that frees up Joel to chase after Guarini with his superior tyres. And wow, Josh has dropped all the way down to 12. But he's on. And Big C snap of oversteer coming out of the second Degner curve. and good evening to you, to Human Fish. Well, basically, Louis was in the top 10, and there was a furious midfield scrap, and he basically got the Degners wrong. The second Degner smashed into the side of Samban Kids, and they both went off and damaged their wings. It's earlier on in the stream, but it was quite an incident, and it certainly got a big reaction out of the viewers and myself. Look at this now. GamerDaBest really starting to eke out more an advantage. He's nearly out of DRS range now. Don't think he's going to be close enough this lap, so I'm just going to have a look at Game Freak, who's now onto the back of Nick Pine, who's got past him. Makes that another fast lap for GamerDaBest. But yeah, Nick Pine and Joel are on the move with their super soft tyres. What about Jamie? And Jamie right on the back of Joel. This could be crucial for the championship. And Jamie moves up to 9th. And what about Game Freak? He's going to try and come back at Nick Pine. You think Nick Pine will be able to get away from him? So these are all important points for Jamie, because he can, you know, if he gained enough places, he can still close gap. And look at this. Even though Pine's got the superior tyres, Game Freak got a much better run. God damn it, it's terrible camera views again. And Game Freak impressively moves ahead of the fresh super soft tyre Nick Pine in McLaren. So back up to 7th for him. And it looks like Joel took a second out of Greeny that last lap. So we have some more battles to come. And now Samban Kid, he's now coming up to the back of Powdy. These could all be important points for Mercedes in the battle for the Constructors' Championship. Gamer getting a good result for Mercedes, and Big C, 12 very solid points for Toro Rosso, so that will still make their situation pretty good. They'll still maintain a very good gap to Mercedes. Oh, and locking up the brakes there. Sam McKidd, I just want to see what's happening with Big C. They're on the main straight again. They've got a massive run. Big C responds to that fastest lap of GamerDaBest with a blistering 1:31.441. So he hasn't given up yet, and he's got the lead back down to Arms second. GamerDaBest is going to have to run to the end. And what could be key here is if either of these men make a penalty mistake, 3 seconds, that could be it. That will end the battle right there. So let's just go back to Samban Kids, because he'll be approaching the end of the lap. And here we go. Samban Kid now putting the pressure onto Powdy to get into the points. It's not been an ideal race for him, and ahead I just saw Pine is, oh, Jamie down the inside of Game Freak, and he's just taken 2 places. Wow. Jamie moving up the order, so Jamie's up to 7th. Wow, those are important, 4 championship points, and as it stands, Jamie will retake the lead of the championship. With that move, he needed 4 points to get back ahead of Louis. Powdy's still ahead of Samban Kid, but that was superb racecraft. Game Freak gets a penalty. Ah dear, so that could definitely cost him in terms of Pine trying to use superior grip. And bizarrely, actually Lucas sets the fastest lap of the race, despite all the penalties he's got. Well, I guess he's got nothing better to do at this point. It's probably been the worst race of the season for him, but he may come out with the fastest lap nonetheless. So back to the front then. GamerDaBest versus Big C through the S curves. Lap 22 of the PSGL F1 Grand Prix. It's certainly been a dramatic one in terms of the championship. And to be fair to Greeny, he's keeping a decent gap to Joel. Joel's not really doing enough, despite his massive tyre advantage, to catch up to Greeny. He needs to be taking more time out of him, because we're running out of laps now. So I think Ferrari 4th and 5th, that would be a solid result for them. And that would actually really consolidate their 4th place in the Constructors' Championship, because it's quite tightened down. It's 50 points for Ferrari, Renault have 46, Sauber have 39, Force India have 36. Williams are seemingly going to get no points again, but McLaren, they could get some decent points here. Louis sets a 1:34.28. Maxi Luca retires. Well, wow, he's ended up on top of the tyre barriers. Well, he's had a race. I'll give him that. He's had a race. More penalties than brains today from Maxi Luca. Better luck next time in the United States, I'm sure. So Big C still in DRS range, just can't close the gap. GamerDaBest doing enough to stay in front. As is GameFreaker in 8th place, but he's got that 3-second penalty, so he's going to lose that if the gap stays like this. Samba Kid did get past Powdy in the end for that final championship point. So Mercedes on for 17 points. That puts them right back into the reckoning for the Constructors' Championship. Put them above Haas, I believe. And yellow's in sector 3. It's probably Maxi Luca's stricken Williams. If I understand the question, that is 3 retirements in a row for Maxi Luca. The Bahrain race winner, that seems a long time ago for him. But there's 2 more races to sort of redeem himself in that respect. So let's see, Jamie, 8 seconds, there's big gaps really, so the main battle track is more or less this one, although Powdy's and Sam McGibb will close to the back of these two. So let's go back to the battle at the front. Gamers has got the better, he has got slightly fresher tyres as well. Oh, bit of a downshift there from Big C on just before 130R. Just see what his fuel situation is. Yeah, he's got enough. Yeah, similar levels of fuel. Still in DRS range. Looks like there could be permanent yellows in sector 3 by the looks of it, which isn't so bad because it's not the most common overtaking area. So GameFreaker keeping ahead of Nick Pine. He's showing good pace for those mediums. It's a pity that he's probably going to lose. He might even finish outside the points if Powdy can keep up with these 3, because he's got a 3-second penalty, which is very unfortunate. And Big C is now 1.3 seconds behind, so it looks like the battle for the lead may be done dusted. But boy oh boy, GamerDaBest, he had to sweat it out for a few laps when Big C came on that charge. But it looks like he is going to take the victory, unless of course he gets penalty in the last few laps. So there is that possibility. So let's just look down the rest of the order. So Tusmus, he was out. Iran still running around 15th. Very unfortunate race for him. He's had to make three pit stops. Iran has, as is QPRbeasts. Nick Pine gets a 3-second penalty. Oh, so Sandbank kids. If he doesn't get any penalties, I'm just going to check quickly if he's got any. Oh, no, not that guy. He's got a penalty as well. So if Powdy can somehow get back up to these guys, he could still leapfrog all of them at the end of the race. So we're on lap 25. Can you believe it? This race has flown by. Plenty of entertainment here today, as has been the case for most of this F1 season, it has to be said. Gamer has a 5-second stop and go, apparently. But if it's to do with that sort of glitched yellow in sector 3, it might it'll probably be removed afterwards. Because I didn't see that penalty come up on my screen. Speeding in the pit lane. Oh, that's strange. I didn't see that come up when he pitted. But thanks for that. Let me just check. No, there's no stop go. Lap 25. No, that must be the glitch yellow in sector 3. He hasn't pitted. Yeah. No, I don't see that being a problem. That'll be removed. But I don't think it will be added because he won't pit anyway. Unless he generally did a cut of some kind. He records his gameplay, so I'm sure he'll be able to get it removed. But So 2.3 second gap between the top two. Shortbread in a very fine third position, which I do believe will be his first podium of the season. Yes, it'll be by far his best result of the season. He's had some bad luck in some of the races he's running. Jack Lacey running in 10th. Joel's not been able to use those super softs, but he's running in a fine 6th place. And Jamie in 7th. Good points for him, and he will be taking the lead of the championship as things stand. He'll be on 80 points. QPRbeasts on... Oh, wait a minute. No, wait. I need to work this out. No, in fact, GamerDaBest will be taking the lead of the championship, assuming he gets it. Oh, it's a 5-second penalty. Unless, of course, yeah. I mean, that's probably a glitch. I don't know where that penalty is. So lap 26 of the Japanese Grand Prix. So GamerDaBest, he's on 64 points, 16 points. He'll be on 80 points. Jamie on 80 points, and QPRbeasts on 79 points. 1 point between the top 3 with 2 rounds to go. Wow, the final 2 races will be unmissable, ladies and gentlemen. Based on that, GamerDaBest will take the lead due to the fact that this will be his 3rd win of the season, and Jamie's only had 1 victory this season, which came in at the Chinese Grand Prix. So a 3-second gap now between the top 2. Big C's got a 3-second penalty, so 3 seconds plus another 3 seconds, even with that 5 seconds for the stop go, wouldn't matter now, unless Gamer gets another penalty in the final lap. So, yeah, Gamer, in any sort of measurement, has definitely got this, I think. So, Sam McKidd, there is a possibility of a little battle for position here in the final lap. But let's go back to GamerDaBest. He messed up his first qualifying lap, but when the pressure was on, he delivered one of the best qualifying laps of the season to take that pole position. He made the perfect start, and then even when he was stuck behind that Sauber, he kept his cool and held off Big C's very spirited challenge. And speaking of Sauber, there's a lapped car there. But GamerDaBest, having missed the Belgium and Singapore Grand Prix, has come back, and he has struck back in the most emphatic fashion to retake the lead of this PSGL F1 Championship. Once again, a change of leadership. Oh, and Greeny's just got a penalty. That probably won't affect his final position. But now GamerDaBest heading through 130R for the final time. Big C dropping back all the time. Some low fuel, yes. So through the chicane for the final time. And GamerDaBest will take the victory and the lead of the PSGL F1 Championship with 2 rounds to go. Big C will finish 2nd. Shortbread will finish in a superb 3rd place for Force India. Jack Lacey will lead his teammate home. A great result for a 4th and 5th today. Joel, who I think's been one of the best drivers today, his defending against GamerDaBest was absolutely fantastic. He will be in 6th place. Jamie, though, keeps himself in the title hunt. He goes level on points with Jamie and above Louis with 7th place. GameFreaker, has anyone been? No more change of position. GameFreaker will go through the final turn. Jamie was running out of fuel, was it? Well, I believe GameFreaker penalties anyway. So GameFreaker will cross the line. Sam McKidd will take the final championship point. No, Sam McKidd drops out. So that is a slight change for the Constructors' Championship situation. So Mercedes lose a point on the line. Both McLaren scoring in the end. Audi up to 9th thanks to that. And here is Louis. Wow. This is a race. It goes without saying he'll want to forget as quickly as possible, because he has seen his championship lead wiped out. He had a 15-point advantage over GamerDaBest going into this race session, but that advantage has been wiped out. He has lost the lead of the championship. But there's 2 more rounds to go. Oh, and I think if he was controlling the car, he would have done that anyway, out of frustration. But that... the chat may come alive, which we won't be able to see, unfortunately. So, 27 laps of the Japanese Grand Prix complete. And it's the Mercedes driver, GamerDaBest, becoming the first man this season to take 3 wins in PSGL F1. Ahead of Big C and Shortbread. and he will be celebrating. But will he be celebrating being the world champion at the end of the season in PSGL F1? We shall have to wait and see. But Big C back on the podium after a couple of races off it, and Qprbeasts best result of the season. Great result for him. So they're in. Oh, right. Oh yeah, I need to see how many penalties Maxi Luca got. Where is he? 34 seconds. And how ironic, it's next to Lance Stroll. Oh my goodness. How did he get 34 seconds penalty? So GamerDaBest takes win, Big C second, Qprbeasts third, Jack Lacey fourth, Greeny fifth, Joel sixth, Jamie seventh, Game4Gave, Powdy ninth, Nick Pine makes up the top 10. Well, it's 34 seconds of penalties, a PSGL record. Someone might have to fill me in on that. But we're going to get the drivers in now for the old interview, so stay tuned. Cool, I've sent them invites.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Connor. Just wait for the others.
No problemo.
Well, that was a unexpectedly close race for part of it.
Oh yeah, that was quite intense, but thankfully, yeah, Joel did a good job defending. But yeah, I think GamerDaBest had better tyre wear and a little bit better pace in the first sector, especially. So yeah, fair result.
Yeah, we were on the edge of our seats when he was caught behind that Sauber, and you were just rapidly catching him.
Yeah, 2-3 seconds. Yeah, it was crazy. So I was like 7 seconds behind at the pit stop, and yeah, 2 laps later.
Right then. Right, we will go over that again in a moment with you, Connor, but here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. We have our podium for the PSGL Japanese Grand Prix, which just finished now. So, your race winner and 3 race wins now, and retaking the championship lead, is GamerDaBest. Gamer, brilliant pole position, and you made the perfect start, and it looked like you're going to have it all your own way, just like in Spain and Hungary, but you had a little third unofficial Toro Rosso driver in the name of Joel, who sort of boxed you in and nearly had Big C getting past you. So that must have been nerve-wracking.
Are we really leading the championship again?
I think Jamie, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what Jamie is.
Might be Jamie, but it's very close, I think.
It's close, yeah. Well, first of all, my first quali lap, I completely screwed up. So that left a lot of pressure for the last one, but thankfully did it pretty nicely. And then, yeah, I wanted to just pull away and it's just be a simple race, but came out of the pits, saw that Sauber, and I thought, right, this is not going to be so easy. and sure enough, it wasn't. And yeah, made things a bit interesting. Big C's pace on the softs was pretty quick, which kept me occupied for the remainder of the race, pretty much. It was fun trying to keep the gaps.
Yeah, just to clarify with you, you were on 64 points, you got 16 points for wins, you're on 80 points. Jamie got 4 points, so he's on 80 points, but you have more wins, so that's why you take the lead of the championship. With Louis just a point behind. So, top 3, 1 point with 2 rounds to go between them, so it's pretty tight, so to say. But we will talk about that in a moment. Big C, a very solid second place for you today. When that Sauber was holding up and you were rapidly catching, you must have thought, yep, I fancy getting past here.
Well, yeah, no, anything can happen, and yeah, I was catching like 2-3 seconds of lap. I decided to go for the undercut or like try and gain some time, and yeah, I did like 16-17 laps in practice, so yeah, the soft was pretty okay. But yeah, Joel did a great job. It looked within the rules from my view. Obviously, it's nice. It made the race close and intense, and yeah, I was within what, half a second of Gamer for that stint. Yeah, my pace was really good, but yeah, I think the first sector, like the end of the first sector game, was a little bit quicker than me, and yeah, I think his tyre wear was slightly better as well. So yeah. Yeah, second's
you
good.
You were in a lot lower wings, I think, by the look of it.
Yeah, I was doing 5.7 with 10 ballast, so yeah. So yeah, it was okay. I think yeah, quali was a bit of a shame. It was all the last sector. I saw Gamer go fastest, so yeah, I was locked up into the chicane. I think it would have been close, but yeah, lost loads of time at green at the start. My first stint pace was shite, but I think I know why that was. Yeah, all in all, a good result. And yeah, I noticed on the race director you had a stop go penalty. I guess
Yeah,
that's
I
just
got that for lapping Tuzma's second to last lap.
Oh, okay.
His
okay.
AI car.
Yeah, I thought it'd be something stupid, so yeah, it's not a big deal. But yeah, all in all, yeah, quite happy, and yeah, well, this game was a bit too quick, and
So we had a shortbread. We didn't see too much of you on track because there was so much else going on, but you had a relatively quiet path to third place. If you could describe how your race went, just to fill us in.
I got a decent start. Nearly got round Big C, which would have been interesting. But then I had to get past Greeny. It was quite, from my point of view, it wasn't very quiet. I had to get past Jamie, Pine, all of those on the mediums, and then I had to keep the pace to Jack behind me. It was a tough race, but I needed a result, and I got one.
Yes, you've had some misfortune in some of the races you've raced this season. So I think a result like this must prove to yourself and others watching that you have the pace to compete at this level.
Yeah, I've had the pace. It's just I've either knocked quality up or been a bit over ambitious on the break.
Yeah, well, that happens to the best of us sometimes, but a really good result forcing you nonetheless. So going back to you, Gamer, as we discussed briefly, 1 point between the top three, 2 rounds to go, USA and Abu Dhabi to come. Did you expect it to be this tight, and did you even expect to be in the title fight at this moment in time after missing 2 races?
I still thought it was going to be possible, but I wouldn't say I'd be leading after 1 race. So, it's going to be, God knows what can happen in this league, anything can. So it's still very open, and anyone of the top 3 can still win it, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you for everybody who's been watching this stream tonight, and congratulations to the top 3 here tonight for the PSGL F1 Japanese Grand Prix. And we will see you next week for the Circuit of Americas for round 11 of the championship as this topsy-turvy season continues. Good night.